Welcome to the Deep Dive, and specifically, our rugby obsession deep dive for you today. If you're as passionate about rugby as we are, well, you're definitely in the right place. We're about to unpack some really fascinating insights into one of the most intense rivalries in world rugby, the All Blacks versus the Springboks. Our mission today, to dig into a recent expert analysis of what's being called a pivotal series. We want to figure out why these next matches are so much more than just games.
Exactly. We're looking at why they're a crucial test, really, for one of the sport's, traditional powerhouses. It's about strategy, psychology, the whole package.
Sounds great. And hey, before we properly dive in, just a quick reminder, if you're loving this kind of rugby chat, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession, wherever you get your deep dives. You won't want to miss out. Okay, so let's unpack this. All Blacks versus Springboks. I mean, this isn't just any rivalry, is it? It's steeped in history, massive stakes.
Oh, absolutely. Decades of it. But what's really interesting right now is the recent history. The Springboks are actually on a 4-game winning streak against the All Blacks, which is pretty significant.
Games, wow.
Yeah. 2 wins back in 2023, including, crucially, the World Cup final, and then 2 more wins against Scott Robertson's side in South Africa last year. That kind of dominance really sets an intense stage for these upcoming matches.
You're not wrong. That kind of streak against them,
Yeah.
it just ramps up the pressure enormously, doesn't it? So what does all this mean for, the immediate future, these next games?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And Michael Cheika, the former Wallabies and Argentina coach, he has a really clear view on this. He genuinely believes these next 2 tests against the Boks in New Zealand are, quote, pivotal for the All Blacks.
Okay, pivotal. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. Because these aren't just any old games, are they? They're rounds 3 and 4 of the Rugby Championship. And crucially, they're at Eden Park in Auckland and Sky Stadium in Wellington, home turf. Cheika's comments, they really seem to underline just how important that home advantage could be here.
Definitely. Eden Park especially is such a fortress historically for them, and Cheika, he's got huge respect for how the All Blacks play. He was on the DSPN podcast with Martin Devlin, and he said something like, I love watching New Zealand play. I hate playing against them just quietly because they're so good.
Right. Coming from him, someone who's been in the opposite coaching box so many times, that's quite the statement.
It is, and it gives his perspective real weight, I think. He understands their traditional strengths, their flair, but he also sees what needs to maybe shift for this specific challenge.
So it's not just about getting the win then. It's about how they win. What exactly did Cheika mean by that? What's the how?
Yeah, it's a bit more nuanced than just, play well and win. He suggests basically that the All Blacks need to win in 2 ways. First, yes, they need to play their distinctive New Zealand way of playing footy. That high-tempo, expansive, skillful game we all recognize.
The classic All Black style. Speed, offloads, finding space.
Exactly. The style that's, let's be honest, very different from South Africa's approach. But, and this is the crucial part, the second way they need to win is by taking on the Springboks in the physicality stakes.
Ah, okay. So matching fire with fire. That's significant. Why does he think that physical piece is so critical for them right now? Isn't there a risk they get drawn into a game that doesn't suit them as much?
Well, that's the fascinating part. He argues that actually matching them physically, fronting up in those collisions at the breakdown, that's what will give the All Blacks the confidence they need.
Confidence, right. Not just winning the collisions, but the belief that comes from it.
Precisely. And that confidence, he reckons, will allow them to feel like they've got their number ahead of that massive tour next year.
The huge 5-test tour in South Africa. The greatest rivalry, they're calling it.
Yeah, exactly. Where they'll face the Springboks and the local franchises. It's going to be brutal. So these 2 games now, they're almost like laying down a marker psychologically. Can they prove on home soil that they can handle that physical onslaught?
It really makes you think about the mental side of rugby, doesn't it? It's not just about the scoreboard. It's about belief, building that inner conviction. What really stands out to you about Cheika emphasizing physicality for that mental edge? It feels quite profound. We'd genuinely love to hear what you think about this too. Send us your comments. And just a reminder, as we keep digging into this, for more deep dives into the world of rugby, make sure you're subscribed to Rugby Obsession.
So why is this series so critical right now, beyond just the All Blacks needing a confidence boost? Well, Cheika points out something pretty stark. South Africa have had the domination over everyone over these last few years. It's not just the All Blacks they've beaten. They've set the physical standard for world rugby.
True. They've become the benchmark in many ways, particularly in terms of power and defense.
Exactly. So this series, back in New Zealand, it's a massive opportunity for the All Blacks to directly challenge that dominance, to maybe, just maybe, shift the narrative a bit, show they can counter that style.
So yeah, it's definitely not just about these two games then. It's much bigger. It's setting the tone, isn't it? For the future, for that huge tour next year. It's showing they can handle the Springboks' physicality, not just absorb it, but maybe even impose their own will at times.
That seems to be the core of Cheika's point. Can they fight that battle and still play their expansive game? That's the challenge.
What a deep dive this has been. We've really unpacked Michael Cheika's argument here, how these next All Blacks versus Springboks games are just absolutely pivotal, not just for the Rugby Championship points, but for setting that crucial mental and physical tone moving forward.
Indeed. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like Cheika does, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In an era where teams like the Springboks are having so much success through, sheer physical dominance, how essential is it for traditionally attacking teams like the All Blacks to really master all parts of the game, including that brutal, confrontational, physical side if they want to stay right at the very top?
That's a huge question for modern rugby. Does flair still win out, or do you absolutely have to be able to dominate physically first? We are really curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you agree with Cheika? Where do you stand? Send us your comments. And of course, for more insights, more analysis, more exclusive content, please make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession. Thank you so much for listening to this Rugby Obsession deep dive. We'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.